I'm not gonna lie, I get a little bummed out when the cold weather comes around. I know lots of people get excited, but I get a little bit, let's say nostalgic for summer, almost before it even ends. To get me a little bit over my nostalgia for summer, I'm gonna make something super cozy and yummy for dinner tonight. It's a cheddar-topped shepherd's pie. I started off by boiling 2 pounds of potatoes. These are russet potatoes. They've been peeled and sliced thinly so that they cook quickly. That should take about 10 minutes total once it's come to a boil. Drain them. You want the nice starchy russet potatoes for this recipe, so that's what you should look for. Those are the baking potatoes. When your potatoes are drained, add them back to the pot and then mash with a cup of milk and a cup of grated sharp cheddar cheese. I like extra sharp. You can use whatever you like. If you prefer the orange, go ahead and use that. Season with some salt and pepper and then mash away. I like to get my mash ready so that when my meat mixture is done, I can top it and pop it right into the oven. This mash is going to be maybe a little bit wetter than you might expect for a regular mashed potato, and that's okay because it's going to bake in the oven and it'll dry out there. It does not have any butter in it, but it's going to get plenty of flavor from that cheddar cheese. Yum. It's so good. Set this aside and make your filling for your shepherd's pie. I'm using just a medium stock pot here. Heat a tablespoon of vegetable oil in a large pan. Be a Dutch oven or stock pot like this. Add 6 stalks of celery that have been sliced, 6 carrots that have been sliced, and 1 onion diced. You'll want to cook this until the onions are translucent and the vegetables cook down just a little bit. That should take up to 8 minutes. One more ingredient, 1/2 teaspoon of dry thyme. If you had access to fresh thyme, you could use that. I would use about a teaspoon of fresh thyme. This is pretty low fat, so I would keep stirring at least until your vegetables release some of their moisture so it doesn't stick or burn. I'm going to add my flour, which is the thickener for this. 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, as well as a 1/4 cup of tomato paste. Excellent flavoring from tomato paste. Stir it around really well. Now there's not a lot of fat in here, as I mentioned before, so be careful with the flour. It can get a little sticky there. Then add 2 pounds of ground beef. You want to cook it until it loses its pinkness. That could take up to about 8 minutes. There's a lot in this pot. Just give it some time and continually stirring it because you did add that flour and you have to be careful that it doesn't burn on the bottom of the pot. If the flour seems to be sticking a lot and your meat hasn't browned yet, just add a splash of water so that it doesn't stick and burn. There's nothing worse than ruining your whole meal because you just didn't take the care. When it's cooked down and the meat has lost all of its pinkness, add 1 cup of water and just bring it to a boil. Make sure it's seasoned. Pour it into a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. Have your oven preheating to 450 degrees. You can make the filling and the topping ahead of time and assemble it and then bake it from cold if you want to. So this is a great make ahead meal. Everything can be made in the morning and then combined and then baked. Top with the potatoes. Make sure you spread it out so you get a nice even layer. Oh, this is looking good already, you guys. The finishing touch, some more grated cheese. Why not? About 1/2 cup. Sprinkle it over the top. Oh, you guys. Who would not be happy about fall if they were given this dish for dinner? Spread it out, make it nice and even, make a little nice design on the top. People are going to be digging in so fast, they're not going to be looking at the design. They're just going to be eating and eating and eating. 450 degrees for about 20 minutes until it's bubbling, but if it was cold, you would want to bake it for about 35 minutes. Check this out. It is unbelievable. Bubbly, golden delightfulness. I am not kidding, and you should smell what it smells like in here. This is probably enough to serve a small army, but believe me, it's going to make great leftovers, so don't shy away from it because it's a big recipe. Just let it sit at least 5 minutes before you give it a taste so you don't burn your tongue off. I'm going to take a teeny tiny bite because I don't think I waited quite long enough. Yes. Welcome fall.